All right, so we left off right here. Hopefully everybody's been able to make all those changes to your project, and it's now in landscape mode. The next section that's in here, you've heard this stuff before, starting on page 43, objects, data, and methods. I'm not going to go over that stuff. You can read it if you have the desire to read it as you get time. Okay? And they show that, like I said, on 43, 44, and the first half of page 45. So then on the bottom half of page 45, they have you go in and build the rest of the interface. So it says your app already has a button in it, but you still need to add the rest of the controls. So you can see exactly what they show there for the controls. So again, what I've asked you to do is come in here, drop in a label here, drop in a label here, drop in a label here, and here, a slider in between them, a button you've already got, all right, a button here, label, 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 label. I'm not going to build that in front of you. I actually will, but I'm not going to tape that, all right? So I'll build it along with you in just a couple minutes, but let's just go over a few more pages that are in here, all right? Such as, after you build the interface, you're going to notice that your button is not going to look like this I button that you see in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. So what the author says here on page 46 is what you want to do is you want to go over and change the button's type, all right? So it says the I button is a regular button, but its type is set to info light in the attributes inspector. So you want to go into the attributes inspector with the button highlighted, and you want to change its type to info light. And you go, I don't understand. Well, I haven't changed the interface, but notice with my interface the way it looks. If I wanted to change the way that button looked right there, all right there. So again, I like to click here. Now it's highlighted, and I can go over here then to my attributes inspector, and I can change the type. So see that? How over here, well, I clicked it, and I went over to the attributes inspector. Then under type, they want you to choose info light. Not for this button, not for the one that says hit me. The one that you add in the bottom right-hand corner. All right? So like I said, I'll build my interface as well in just a minute. They also show you the attributes for the slider and how to set those on this same page. And they tell you that you should set it up so that the minimum value is 1, the maximum is 100, and the default value, so to speak, is 50. All right? I think we can all do that really with hopefully at least, with very little trouble. All right? All right. Then jumping on to the next page here, on to page 47. And again, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to stop taping, but I'm just going to walk you through this stuff. It's 9:16. And my hope is by 9:25 or so, we're done with where I want to get to today. But I'm going to keep taping. I'll build the interface, but I'm just going to do it and I'm not going to talk. So you'll be able to see me building the interface. All right? But that'll give you about 20 or 25 minutes that you can build the interface and go through those 5 to 10 pages and get all caught up. So if you're at all behind, hopefully that'll catch you back up. All right. So they talk about the slider next on page 47. And the author says what you want to do. And again, I don't know if you know what the word pragmatic means. I don't want to talk up or down to anybody, or, but this author is very pragmatic. In other words, what he does is he doesn't say, we're going to do this, okay, and then do it. He says, now, in order to do this, let's talk about what you do. And he kind of talks around it, and he shows a very simplistic example, and then he shows something more complex, such as he has you come in here and create this slider move thing, and then go back to the storyboard and set it all up. So again, I'm going to do all this, all right, in just a couple minutes. But what is going to happen is you're going to have the slider on the screen. When you get done with this, if you do everything he told you to do, and you start dragging your slider back and forth, if you do everything, then as you can see on the bottom of page 48 in the handout, in the console area that's at the bottom of your screen, it'll say the slider's at 10, the slider's at 11, the slider's at 12, etc. as you move it back and forth. All right? That's what he wants you to do, just so you can see what's going on in there. All right. Then up on page 49, he talks about what a string is. Strings have to be in double quotes. And he gives you a little bit of verbiage on strings. Then he talks about variables on page 50. And he talks about the difference between a var and a let. And most of this is on var. So he talks about that. All right. And the last thing I just want to mention in here is I'm moving up all the way to page 53. So I'm moving up about 6 or 7 pages here. And on the very top of the page, very top of page 53, the author says current value equals L round F slider dot value. He says what's going on here. It says you've seen the slider dot value before, and it's a value between 1 and 100. All right? And what he's talking about in here is, depending on when you're working with a slider, do you want it to be working with integer values or with float values? And that's what he gets to in here. All right? So what I'd like you to try to do between now and next class is get to where the last thing you do is you put the code in that's shown on the top of page 54 in your book. I'd like you to get till that point. I'm going to do the same thing right now. I'm going to start building my interface. So I'm moving back to page 45. I'm not going to talk, but you'll see me on the tape just building the interface and following the instructions that are in it. So you've got, and it's good, it's 9:20, so you have a half an hour to try to get that stuff done. All right? Then we'll pick it up there the next class. So there's mine so far with what we've got. And again, I'll save everything that I've been working on. I tried to make the text size a little bigger so it would show up okay on the screen. I changed the button to an info type. It's not perfect. You know, I could probably move some stuff around a little bit, but it's not bad the way that it currently is. Okay? John, I was just about to ask for your help. That's the first time since I changed over that the simulator actually came up and showed me the project.
Oh, really?
Yes. Getting a little bit concerned.